Hello, everyone. Welcome to our webinar. My name is Zacharias Sulimane, and I will be your host today, together with my colleague, Pierrick Deleuze. Today, we are going to speak about the latest innovations of the IRISXtract accounts payable solution. And the webinar will be around 45 minutes. The speakers will be Walter and Mihai, and maybe Walter, you can introduce yourself.
Walter, I think you're on mute.
Thank you very much. Hello, everybody. Thank you very much. My name is Walter. I am about 5 years at IRIS, working in the business development. I'm already close to 18 years working for Canon companies and already 25 years in the solution business. I'm mainly responsible to support our partners in Central and Eastern Europe, especially in the B2B area. Thank you. Mihai?
Yes, thank you everybody joining. My name is Mihai Surugiu. I'm with IRIS for almost 14 years now. I've been part of different teams, different positions, and now I'm the team leader for the solution packages development team. Thanks.
Yes, you can ask your questions via the question tab on the right-hand side. And you will also be able to replay the webinar and download the presentation later today on our webpage. And now I would like to give the stage to Walter to start with the presentation.
Many thanks, Zacharias, for handing over the stage to me. The goal of this webinar is to highlight the latest innovations of our recently launched update of the AP Solution Pack, which is of interest for users, consultants, and also technicians, as we are also showing an overview how to handle the new innovations in projects. Lots of you, and especially the people dealing with partners, have been informed via our service on the partner side that the version 8 was launched from the service, but we would like to highlight the most important things of the version 8 now. Can you please move on? For those who are not familiar with IRIS P&T, I will give you a brief overview. We are a development company. P&T stands for Products and Technologies. So our activities are all about development and automation of processes as to capture documents and data, and all that to be used for further needs, which already creates a big field of activities. Can you please move on? Along that mission, a few facts and numbers. Beside the fact that we are already more than 30 years on the market, I think the most important thing is that we are, even in 2019, we had already 50 plus developers, but we are currently heavily investing in this area. And if you're looking on our profitability, that you see that we are able to do like that on our way to even get a bigger global reach. Can you please move on? Our expertise is all about information management techniques, which we invent, develop, and maintain 100% our own property. If you're looking on the left-hand side, then you have mentioned here a few companies you most probably know. And even you are in the situation that you are using the one or other thing coming from one of these companies. So if you're sitting in front of a PDF created by Adobe, then you are probably already using our technology. Can you please move on? But from the general perspective, back to the main content of this webinar. Just at a glance, you will probably see these 4 steps as a process in an accounts payable capture solution. The goal is to bridge the media gap as to filter out the relevant informations according to the rule set used with different needs in different areas of the world, and to hand over for further use in the process. And that all to be done in a very controlled way. Can you please move on? So let's move to the latest innovations which we implemented in the latest release of the solution pack, where we would like to highlight these 4 topics. We will talk about what has been changed for the training modes and what possibility we have. We will talk about how to use amount fields in the future. We will talk about a service which you can use in the future as well. And last but not least, we will talk about the improvement of the AP scripting interface. Can you please move on? So let's talk about the first topic, and it's about the support for different trainings modes. Everybody of you, or most of you, are aware about the functionality we have within our solution using F12, or mostly using F12. You can even change that to train a field in the verify mask. Until version 7, you only had the possibility for a hard-coded evaluation, and then always using the search field, regular expression, and the field format without spaces. If you were taking the alternative training mode, then the same appears without the regular expression. Due to the fact that not all fields are search fields, the behavior in verify was inconsistent, how this training was applied to the solution. Within version 8, you have now much more possibilities how to combine them with the goal to have a consistent behavior when you're using the training. And you can do it in combination with or without space characters. Can you please change to my virtual machine? I will show you now in the solution designer where you can deal with these possibilities for the training mode. I'm here in the solution designer using the SP configuration, using the parameters, and in the section of verify, you have a functionality which is called training functionality. And in this training functionality, all what you have seen on the screen in the slides is described over there, and you have the possibility to combine it in the way which is best fitting at your application. The goal should be that even using F12 should fit for most of the fields when you're using the training. Of course, you have also the possibility to use an alternative training mode, which means that for the user, two trainings mode should be applied. Can you please go back to the presentation? Oh, you have already, moved. Thank you very much. The second part of what we have changed or what we are providing now is about the flexible amount fields decimal settings. Due to the internationalization of the package we are providing, we are more and more facing the need that the amount fields with 2 decimals are not enough for the future. What you are seeing here is a part of 2 invoices. On the left-hand side, an invoice coming from Hungary using the currency forint, and one forint has a relatively low value, so it doesn't make sense to use any decimals. So if you're getting Hungarian invoices, most of the invoices do not even have decimals. The other thing what we are also seeing even in Europe, but even more also in other areas of the world, is that there are more than 2 decimals used. In that case, it's an invoice coming from pharmaceutical company, where at least in the table settings, the unit price was dealing with more than 2 decimals, although the value was then with only 2 decimals. Can you please change to my virtual machine? Thank you very much. So what is new now in the solution pack itself? If you're looking at the field editor, where you can see all the fields which you can use in the solution, then you will recognize that the amounts fields here has been changed to decimal fields. And if you're going to a decimal field, and I'm just using the field for the net amount over there, then yes, of course, you have here the possibility how to use the field properties. And if you are formatting the decimals, then you can see that you not only can change the numbers, how many decimals should be provided over there, you can even now have the possibility to enforce the numbers of decimals, which has a direct impact to the behavior in verify. Thank you very much. Can you please go back to the presentation? Thank you. The next point is that we have now the first time the possibility in the standard solution that we are using a web service, which is called VIS, and we can deal with that. What is VIS? VIS is a VAT number validation provided by the European Commission. So every country or every single company in Europe is somehow listed in this service, at least when this company is making an international deals and sending invoices to other countries as well. This validation works for all member states of Europe, but you will see in my presentation, what I'm showing to you, that not for all countries you are getting the same details back. Can you please go back to my virtual machine? You can see here, I have here in my verify screen just 2 invoices, and on this invoice the system has recognized a VAT number, and as it is written here in black, it's validated in a correct way, and you can see here that the vendor name and even the address of this vendor was coming back from the VAT service on runtime. Just for demo purpose, I am using a demo invoice. Quite a number of people are aware about these invoices because these are our demo invoices from the system. But what you can see here is that in that case, the VAT registration number was validated by the VIS service and also, of course, by our system. So the format is correct of this service, but if you click on that, you will find out that this number was invalidated by the web service. So the web service is giving us back the information that this VAT number is not registered at their service. So if you have this situation, then you probably need to check, is it only because companies is not doing some international deals and also not sending international invoices, or is it that this VAT number is not even available? At least you should check it. Because of demo purposes, I will show you how this is working. So I'm just changing here, editing, putting a number in, although it is not on the screen. Sorry for that. No, that was not working. Huh. Okay. I have some problems. So what I have done is I have now put in a valid known number, and I have just changed this number, and immediately on the runtime you got the information back about the vendor and also about the address. So you might also be interested on how this is done in the solution designer. So I'm going back to my SP solution pack configuration, going back into the parameters, and I will choose the extraction and validation part, extracting the basic settings. And here you have a line which is saying, do not use external master data. You can expand this area as well, and you will find these 3 additional parameters which you can use in your solution designer. When you're clicking on do not use the external master data, you will get an information which of the master data informations are not working for this project anymore, or are not, the system will not take care about this master data anymore. But you can click on, please use the VAT service at the moment or not, and also please validate about that. Zacharia, could you please go back to the presentation? No, and one slide back, please. What we haven't talked about is the fact that most of you know that, or everybody knows that since the 1st of January, the UK is not part of the European Union anymore. So, and because of that, unluckily, of course, the VAT number validation service, the VIS number validation service, was not working anymore for UK companies. Luckily, UK was able to set up such a service in the meantime, and I'm now in the nice situation to tell you that we will include this service already with the next update from the accounts payable package. So even for the people who are already aware about what version 8 is doing for you, this is something new. And we could go one step ahead and could that already announce about this part of the data integrity checking, which we can do now via a service. Please, Zacharia, could you go now to the next slide, please? So last but not least, of all the changes we have done within the version 8, we have been improving the API scripting interface. You all know, or most of you in development know, that over the time you're developing, adding informations in your developing area. But from time to time, you need to step back and ask yourself, shouldn't we use probably new architectures? Should we clean it up a little bit? And all these kind of things we have done when we were providing version 8 over there. And it's a pleasure to me to hand over the stage to Mihai, who will give you much more insights about what we have done in this area.
Thank you, Walter. Yes, indeed, we did took a step back and we had to look to our solution and to the development that has been done for many, many years. And we said that we had to do some refactoring. We had to clean and to make it more robust and with new architecture. And that ended up with restructuring completely the interface. And when I'm talking about interface, here I just need to emphasize it's the interface that it's provided by the package itself and not by the platform. When we look to some of the people that are more into the development part of our field, they will recognize what I'm showing here. It's the data script. It's a part that it's implementing, in fact, some callbacks from the platform, and you will see that here and there we have the so-called SPAP interface called, and they are short calls, because in the end our solution, it's acting really like a customization over a project in IRISXtract. And what we have done is to rewrite this entire interface. And when I'm saying about restructuring, every method that we had before available, every parameter that was available from the side of SPAP were all grouped in one big block, one big object. Now, as we can see, we have here the data script, but for every data script, we have document handlers and methods for that. We have constraint handlers and all the methods that are considered constraint handler implementations. If we go here back to the initialization of the object, we can see that we get one big block of data script. But if we would look to the verify, we will get there an object of type verify. Let me find it. It's just here. So we get an object of type verify with all the implementations required to have SPAP properly running. So let me come back here. An additional, after we restructured the entire interface, we decided to put some additional functionality. One that was required since long time by our integrators, it's the possibility to change at runtime the parameters that are driving the solution. And what I did here is to write some sample customization, some code that would showcase the new functionality. I'm looking here to a property that it comes at the document level. It could come through the import structure or directly through the import channel. And here I can see that based on the parameter that it's attached to the document or to the batch, I can do other switches. For example, here I'm looking, do I have orders register for this set of documents or for this particular document? And if I know that I don't have, I would switch the order number search mode to 0. The parameters are most of them all available into the current session config, and we can just type parts of this parameter. The names are quite representative, and every parameter has a good explanatory text attached to it. IntelliSense, it's able to display it, as you can see here. As soon as I've managed to change the way I'm searching for the order number, I go on with calling, as usual, the onComplete, the part that is doing the entire extraction. And later on, I can really reset back my configuration to the configuration that it's stored in the project. So I'm assuring that the rest of the documents will be treated with a configuration put in place by using Solution Designer. What I want to also mention here is that we integrated the VS service, and as mentioned before by Walter, this service, it's giving different results depending on the country. Why? It's a service that it's aggregating member states' services. And for taking this into consideration, you might want to implement a custom way of using it. And this is why I'm highlighting here a way to instantiate such a VAT checker. So, and then to validate it to see if it's a VAT registered for cross-border transactions. And furthermore, if that's the case, you would be able to get the address and to fill in the fields. So this interface was provided just to have a different way of behavior in case the standard behavior that is provided with the current implementation is not sufficient. As Walter mentioned, the UK and maybe some other services would be integrated in the future, but in the end, the interface, we will keep it similar. So you will not have to care of which service to be called. You will have only one interface, and that will point to the different services that are to be used in the background. And I think that's it from my side. Walter, you can take it over.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Michal. Can you please go back? Zachariah? Yeah, there is one point we need to add on the technical presentation of Michal, is that with all these changes what we have done here in the API scripting interface, that we will share these changes, of course, also in all the solution packs in the future. So the next package of SP orders, document conversion, and also document separation will be also using the same scripting interface. So using all these changes, these cleanups, the grouping for getting a new scripting interface, we will use that in these applications as well. And again, we are not touching the platform scripting interface. It is just about the accounts payable scripting interface. So that's what it about. Could you please move on to the next slide, please? So summarizing, or let's see it as some kind of takeaways, what we have done in version 8. And yeah, it was for us, I would say, the first time, or the idea, not only to let you or that you get the information coming back from the partner side, that the new version is there. It's all about an easier training handling. And you probably should think about why to upgrade an existing solution over there. Is it something what you can use? Do you have a need how to deal with amounts, decimal on amounts in the future? Is there a possibility for you to use the VIS, at current only the number validation service of the European Commission? But please also think about that even if somebody has customized and using the new scripting interface, for whomever should do any support, either it is us or you have your own support team, then it will be much easier for these people to understand what has been done with the customizing. Yeah, and last but not least, and again, this all will be the base for all further improvements. So whenever we are creating new functionalities, adding new functions, then the base of that will be the version 8. As you can see, version 7 to 8 a minor update what we have done, or a major update what we have done over there. And as also mentioned already, the UK validation service will be already included in the next version. So from this is the information I would like to give you about the latest innovations. And I would like to hand over to Pierik, as Pierik will take care about any questions which has came up. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Walter. Thank you, Mihai. We've received many interesting questions, actually. So we are going to answer a few of them. And for those who will have still their questions pending, don't worry. We will get back to you and answer those questions via emails. Mihai and Walter will take care of answering all the questions you have asked in the questions tab. Let me start with one question from Marcus. Is there an easy way for an update from SPAP 7, so Accounts Payable Solution 7, to version 8, and maybe from SPAP 6 to 8? So upgrade to 8.
Okay, so I think I'll take that question, Pierik.
Yeah.
The package that we released, so the SPAP version 8 doesn't only come with the package itself, but it also comes with an updated configuration plugin, which is taking care as well about the upgrade from prior version to this one. What we have to take in mind still, it's that the scripting part, it's not automatically ported. So the updater, it's supporting all changes, like changing the amounts to field to decimals. It's putting all the other changes that are coming and that were not mentioned during this session, but that are consistent. Those would be propagated to the to your custom project. But the scripting, it's not changed. What I want to mention here is that there should be no worry in regards to the amount of time or the workload on this kind of change. The changes are straightforward. They are, as I showed prior to this, most of the time the customizations are done with the scripting interface from the platform, and what we change only the scripting interface from SPAP. And those calls that were prior to this, they are still in the same place. It will be easy to do a merge during the files, and I would not be scared of such an upgrade.
Okay, thank you, Mihai. A few people...
yeah, I think sorry to interrupt you, Pierik, but I think there was another part of the question that I didn't answer. It's regarding to version 6. That's also in place. It's possible to switch from version 6 to 8, but I think there is one step additional that will require to change the project from an IRISXtract 4 project to an IRISXtract 5 project. It will be probably in that particular case important to check if it's not even better to start directly with version 8 and re-implement the customizations.
Okay, thank you, Mihai. We have a few questions about the UK VAT checks. And Walter, you mentioned that it will be in the next version of the accounts payable solution. And so we have people like Josh and Adam asking when this new version of the accounts payable solution will be released. And I guess this is for you, Mihai.
It is indeed for me, and unfortunately I cannot give a date now, but we will try to accumulate a few other improvements, other maybe fixes, and we will try to come up with a version as soon as possible.
Okay. Question from Bart asking, is a training possible in master data less mode?
Yes, I can answer this question. So if you are in the master data less mode, you are right that the master data special about the creditor are in that case not available. But in the case you have identified the creditor via the VIS, you can link this information to another field, which should be a field which is limited only to one hit, and so the tax ID would be the right link that this training could be also done in the master data less mode.
Okay, another question about master data less mode from Chris. Is it possible to handle my own VAT number when using the master data less mode?
I can also answer that. My own VAT number. So when we are talking about the master data less mode, I have showed you that on the screen. There are only these 3 master data files not available, but my own VAT number I can still handle in the master data. Yes, this is possible. That
Cool.
was, by the way, also the reason why on this first invoice I have showed to you, my own master data. My own VAT number was handled in the solution designer. So we were, of course, finding both VAT numbers, but only providing the one from the creditor.
Okay. Question from Alexander. Will new training modes help us recognize complex tables, for example, where positions have variable number of text rows? Mihai?
Yeah, could you please repeat?
Yes. Will new training modes help us recognize complex tables? Well, those new training modes will help our users recognize complex tables.
The training functionality in the end works in the level of the table in the same way. It would be possible to train those fields probably with more flexibility in regards to the whether there are spaces for the amounts or for other parts of the field. But the changes we have implemented now were not addressing in particular improvements at the level of the table.
Okay, so it works the same way, but not specifically for the table.
It will depend on what kind of columns would be expected to be trained and so on. So it's a question to elaborate, probably.
Okay, thanks. Question from Andrea. Is it possible to make different decimal and rounding tolerance settings according to the currency in one project?
So I'll try to take that question as well. At the moment, you would be able to change these only through the solution designer. So in the end, the verify mask would be impacted by these changes, and I think it would be advised to stick to a consistent behavior, not in the case that you would be able to validate the value with 3 decimals, and in another case you would be able to validate it with no decimals. Nonetheless, I think the parameters are presumably available. I would not be able to say if they are available from the platform interface, because it's a functionality that is provided by the IRISXtract platform. So you could come up with some different behaviors, but I would say that will not be recommended.
Okay, and I would take a last question before closing. Question from Sven. Is it possible to use other web services identifying creditors if, for instance, available for other regions? Walter, maybe?
Yeah, so I guess Mihai was already talking about that in his speech, talking about the web service. Yes, this is technically possible. We need to take care, is it a project or is it something what we will include in general? But in general, it is possible. You need to take care how it is built. Are there other circumstances as do you need to register yourself? Are there any costs and so on? But anyhow, on project level, this is possible. Yes.
Okay, good. Thank you for your questions. As I said earlier, all those remaining questions not yet answered will be answered via email. Walter and Mihai will take care of that. And also for that question that you said you would elaborate, Mihai, that would be good to elaborate in writing for our user, I guess. So let's move on. And Zakaria, I can give you the last word.
Yes, thank you, Eric. Yeah, thank you very much for attending this webinar. You can replay the webinar later today on our webpage, irisdatacapture.com/webinars. And please don't forget to register for our next webinar, which is taking place on the 10th of June, and which will be about privacy protection. So we all expect you to be there. And yes, thank you very much for your participation. Have a nice day and goodbye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.